Hello, IK here. Welcome to React AI e-commerce full course from beginner to advanced. Lesson 17. Redux, provider, store, reducer, slice, useSelector. Index.js. We have React component provider, props store equal object store, and close tag of provider. Inside, all components inside the provider have access to the Redux store. Provider provide Redux, and all inside provider have access to Redux, concretely Redux store. Redux store is the most important part of the Redux. Store equal object store. When the application starts, Redux initializes the store. All reducers inside the store run once to create their initial state. This is index.js, and here is a provider. Open tag, and down is a close tag. Close tag. All inside it is a root, and every root there is a component. Look at it is component. Every root there is a component. All that component have access to Redux. Provider provide Redux because all this root and this component are inside tags of provider. It means all component here have access to Redux. Store. This is store. Here it is reducer. It is all reducer what I need in my application e-commerce public. Here it is. And we concentrate of this reducer. Departments reducer. This word, departments reducer, this name, is here. Import departments reducer from departments slice. Every reducer is from slice. The file we call slice. Slice produce reducer. It is slice is about reducer. Slice is reducer. But look at now. Department reducer. That name don't exist in slice. And we ask ourselves how we can import departments reducer, function, object, what is it? It is department reducer, it is function reducer. But that name, that function, not exist in slice. We can call it anything, but in the same time, we must replace here departments reducer. This is connected to this name, departments reducer. But departments reducer not exist in slice. Here is department slice. Look at here inside of create slice. There is no department reducer. There is a word department, uh, but don't exist department reducer. But we import departments reducer from this slice. What happened here? Happened this. Look it down. Department slice dot reducer export default. Export default means it is only one. It is default export reducer. Here is properties. Properties department slice is created, is declared, and that department slice, what is created with function create slice, created with properties reducer, and we export properties reducer, and it is only one output. There is no other, only one default output. It means that when we call this slice, only what we can have from that is this department slice reducer. And we can give name as we want, but output would be department slice dot reducer. We don't see that properties reducer because create slice is created departments slice, our object department slice. We declare department slice. It is reference, it is a state object and variable. And create slice function create, but we don't see what that slice created. It is declaring programming, not imperative. When we code all from scratch, all object, and we see all is here is a creation by function, and the function create, but we don't know what created. We all boilerplate create slice, all object, all variable function inside that function, all would be in background, and we need write only what ask from us in some experience and in document original documents. We see what we might have to write here. We spoke about it, but we don't see concretely word reducer, but it is properties reducer. We will see how it is all inside it. It's all about reducer. All about reducer. But for now, it is enough that we know that default export is properties reducer. And when we have the default export, we can name in import side and name what we want. It would be always department slice reducer. Okay. In every slice, we must use initial state variable, and declare it like it is here, initial state equal three properties, departments, status, error. And slice, this concretely slice reducer, there is object. Here it is initial state, but that initial state would be would be called departments. And that department state, now it is initial state, but it will be when when departments are here empty. Sometimes it would be full of departments. Status would change. And if there is an error, we, instead of null, we will see error. It is dynamically, but initial state is declared. And every state, every slice, every reducer, there is a declared initial state, like in this example, departments. And this initial state will be named departments. And that object departments have three properties. Departments array, now is empty array. Departments would coming from our database. Status now it is idle, and error now is null. Departments. Store, there is an object state. And it's one object state. There is all slices. Every slice is a reducer. About reducer in some of next video. Every slice is reducer. How many slices? So many reducers. And every reducers in state. Store, there is a state and there is a method. But now, interesting for us, a state. Inside that state, there is a reducer. So our slice here is departments. So when we call it, we call it state dot departments dot departments. State of the store, initial state as departments object with and properties departments. Okay, it is, we now look at in slice, departments slice. Back to our lesson. Provide, store, all components inside provider have access to the Redux store. What is a store? When the application starts, Redux initialize the store. All reducer inside the store run once to create their initial state. And here we have example of department slice, initial state, access, it is initial department slice initial state, but here is interesting that export departments, default export department slice dot reducer. And we have here example of article slice, also initial, you see, initial state, there is three properties. And later, that initial state will be access articles or will be departments object. It is all very, very some big free in naming, but it is not free when we understand it. And I like that who want understand React. It is excellent options for you. You can ask me in comments and we can discuss it. You can brainstorming with me and one with other in comments. And I repeat, big options for discuss with me concretely until it is hot. Now I publish it and you discuss with me after that. But the best is your practice. You practice. You open that site. You look at it. You concentrate. You have exercise in after every in the end of the every lesson exercise. You do this exercise and you brainstorming with Chat GPT as I am. Uh, of course, I suppose that beginners is very hard or impossible brainstorming with AI, so they can brainstorming with me. But all that after oven impact, including practice what I said in this video and what is on the screen. Of course, you can stop my voices and regulate how fast uh, go text in the screen and go back. It is some combination of books and the course, YouTube course, but books is very, very important because uh, this something like this, what is can be very, very confused. It is better to look at in text and the thinking uh, with our own fast head, own speed. Then listen my voices and go with my voices ahead. Stop, look at the text, thinking, and try note on the paper, on the table, and pen, diagram, etc. All explain all this voice loadout because loadout is something excellent. I repeating loadout lesson in my high school, and I have good result in school. But now I see Nobel Prize Fanaway, physician, said loadout is very important because when we load out, and I remember in high school, uh, when I stop, I don't know what to say. Uh, I go back to book, read again, and try repeat again. It is something like learning in memory, but it is not because uh, we have new word in every lesson, and it is books. It is education book, new word, and that repeating is connected with with wider, make wider our vocabulary. Okay. So initial value, there is when store execute, store call slices execute, and store is full of reducer. Every reducer, there is initial state, and that initial state would be first state in component. Concretely here it is app.js component. Reducer in the store, here is example of departments reducer, and this is for department reducer, can be anything in import and here, because slice, there is a default only one output. It would be reducer, what output from slice, uh, even though we call it x, y, Y, Z. But of course, we give a name what define it that we understand our code. Mm. Import example, import example. Here is import department reducer. You look at department, import department reducer from department slice, but department reducer, there is no exist. That terms, that name, because we use in programming, we know that name of a variable, function, etc., is name would follow that variable, that function follow through complete application. Cannot be name. Uh, that name cannot change. It is that function and that function when we use name of function or variable. Here it is not case, but see, department slice output only that oven reducer uh, that the part that our slice there is a properties reducer we don't know, but now when we see in default, because the function create slice created in that slice created properties named reducer, we see that all inside it is about a reducer, but we don't know that and don't see uh, that uh, there is a name departments reducer. And we see that concretely word reducer is properties of slice we see on the default on the end of the document. Uh, I must see that I brainstorming this with ChatGPT, and ChatGPT don't know explain. Uh, I find it. It is all my brainstorming with ChatGPT is all summary is mine, not of them. Concretely here, uh, ChatGPT explain me uh, that departments reducer can be any name, but uh, don't say why. And I, in the end, but it is very useful be that brainstorming with AI because of that brainstorming, I I research, I see in the end, yes, that default export is only one. It is reducer, and anytime in import side uh, would be that reducer. Why why can we import department reducer if no such name exists in slice? Because the slice exports only the reducer as default export. Export default departments, here it is, export default departments reducer. Default export can be imported with any name. Here it is. So department reducer is just a chosen name for the default export. Use selector explanation. Constant declaration of departments, local in app.js, local state. We assign function, hook function, use selector. All function with use beginning with use a hook function. Use selector for parameter there is arrow function state state departments. Here it is. What is state? State is main object of store. Store, there is object state and there is some method. And here, state, it is in object of store, state. In that state, we have departments. It is key. Now artificial intelligence use name key, not before, but now key. Okay, departments. What is departments? Okay, here it is right. State, full Redux store state. Full of what? Of reducer. State departments, it is the slice registered in configure store. And state departments, the departments array inside the slice initial state. Very, very complicated for beginner. Very, very, very complicated. And you see here again, initial state. Initial state is a name of state, name of variable, initial state. And that variable we call departments. It is big default. We now know reason. Reason is because same reason is as because every naming means value only one possible value, and the name can be changed, but only one possible value. Oh, okay. Try you explain it. You have my complete application, e-commerce, and we now public site. After that, we have admin application, and you will see a lot of example. And when we only work in that, or learn, repeating, learn, look at in code, and repeating, only like that, it will be will be not problems. You will be deep understanding, and you will know command, delegate coding to artificial intelligence. It means that this second department, it is a slice initial state. We have two levels named departments. First department, store key from configure store. Second department, properties inside slice initial state. Additionally, constant departments equal. Here we declare a local variable named departments, which receives the value of the slice departments array. It is interesting that we can use properties without, but here we need use object also, departments. Okay. When app initial render, when app.js renders for the first time, departments local variable is an empty array, because the slice initial state is constant initial state is departments empty array. Exercise. Draw block diagram. Connected all elements of this lesson. Uh, I put every item slice on one paper. By printer, put code in one paper, and index.js with provider in one paper, and app.js in one paper, and marker marked in every of that pages, marked, of course, and we here we have store.js, slice.js when speak about department, a slice, index.js provider, index, and app.js. In app, we use a selector. In app, it is for paper and put by printer in for paper every items. And with the marker, you sign about what we spoke about provider, about store reducer, concretely departments, slice, output, React, import, what we import. And it is with one look, you see 4 pages. Or you have 4 computers on the table, and in every screen put one of that pages, and with one look you see complete panoramic environment, and you see with the line you drawing line, it is data flow, data flow, data flow. And the data flow is what we work, what we code, what we tell story. Story is data flow. Data flow is also architecture, patterns, data flow. In one moment, I ask myself, why that complication with the Redux? But not Redux is central management of state, and every component can subscribe. But if we put it in local state only, it is something impossible to maintain. Okay, draw block diagram connecting all elements of this lesson. Provide, store, reducer, slices, initial state, use selector, and component using the state. Component using the state have a use selector. Here we have only app.js momentarily. Brainstorm with AI, ask AI to draw the diagram. But you must see in one look, in one glance, all that pages. It can be small one on the one screen, but you must see with only name of that and only important terms, but you must see in one glance, in one diagram. Okay, it's all for this lesson. I understand. I understand. I make a very good application, experiment, and the final product is. I'm very satisfied, and you have that in your hand. You clone it from my repository. and look at in that pages and repeat, repeat, and repeat, understand, understand, and understand, and you don't need other coding now, but you must know story. You must know data flow. It is your story. You know your data, and you know their flow. And step by step, in small part, you can delegate coding for any applications you want, produce step by step. Artificial will give you excellent, excellent result. Uh, okay. If you know somebody that need a video like this, tell them about. If you like it, subscribe, subscribe. And for all of us around this video, it would be better, any engagement. And all we learn one from another. Thank you for watching this video.